Right, hello everybody. Welcome back to SnowRunner hard mode. Episode, I'm not sure what episode this is. There's a couple of videos that I've got recorded but not edited and uploaded yet. So I am slightly ahead of myself, which I don't really want to do, but at the same time, I want to play and I don't want to be restrained. So I am going to continue with this map. As you can see, so since the last episode, we left off the last episode with this Chevy truck parked just around the corner there, not far from here. And this trailer was pointing the other way. Off camera, I moved the trailer around and it wasn't pretty. I just used winches to drag it around because dolly trailers, I cannot reverse for the life of me. And it didn't make interesting enough footage to record. And then I've put what I want to do is, let's jump the view back to the truck, start the engine, raise the ramps on the back of the trailer, and then I'm going to head back to the garage, basically. And I've stuck it on the trailer because the trailer was here, and I want to take... Looking back at the trailer and drive into a big rock, very clever. I want to take both of these vehicles to the garage anyway, just to look at upgrades. I want to know what level I'm aiming for to get better tyres on the Fleet Star. Jump into the cab view, turn some lights on, because as it seems to be the case with all of these episodes, it's starting in the dark. And that maybe is, well, I guess, oh, that makes sense. I assume then, based on that the game's day-night cycle is a 1 hour cycle. And therefore, because my videos tend to be about 50 minutes, they tend to start and end in the day, with the day-night cycle. So anyway, take these both back to the garage, have a look at possible upgrade options that they may have available to me. I've been thinking offline about any vehicles that we might be able to just pick up from another map. And I know that the vehicle of the ones that you can pick up for free, that I'm aware of, the one I would really like is the Tiger, which is in the Russian Federation map. But unfortunately, the deployment thing, I don't know the cost of deployment, so we need to find that out, and I can't find that out in game without storing a truck and trying to deploy it just to see what it costs, and I don't want to do that and waste money just to find out a cost if it might be prohibitive. So if that cost was reasonable, like $1,000, is that reasonable? I don't know. But if it was moderate, then I would. Let me just grab some fuel. Then I would take a truck to the Russian Federation and grab a Tiger, because it is a very capable truck. Let's refuel. I want to change the source to be this. Am I not close enough? Should be. I want to refuel. There we go. I must have been not quite close enough. So I'll fill the Chevy up and then fill the Fleet Star up. And then reverse just enough to allow me to drive out the garage. So they're both full, get them both down to the garage, and then think about what to do next after we've got some upgrades, or at least we understand what upgrades we're aiming for. So, experiment, I am now going to cut to the garage so that you don't have to watch me drive down through this muddy piece. Alright, We're back. Welcome back from my little cut, which for you was for hopefully moments. Fairly uneventful. Not a lot of point in showing that footage. So let's park up. I'm going to leave this trailer here. So unpack the trailer and activate the ramp. And then detach the trailer. And then let's get the Fleet Star in the garage, and then come out and get the Chevy in the garage. Yeah, so I'm going to start doing that a little bit, is where there's nothing happening between destinations. Obviously, if I were to roll a truck or have a problem in the middle of where I expected to cut it, I'll change it, and it will be footage, because I'm not going to hide any of my mistakes at all. But where it's a really uneventful, boring drive down through an area of ground that's just slow because it's muddy but not interesting, then I think it's probably better for the content, better for the viewers, probably better for me because I can get more play done without feeling like the videos are getting too long. So we're in the garage, the GMC. Is slightly beaten up. I want to do a bodywork repair on it, but it's a bit expensive. Customize. Let's just see what options we've got. We haven't yet found the raised suspension. This is somewhere on the maps that we've currently got access to. That may be a priority for us to go out and look for. Engine-wise, we could get that upgrade, but at the moment we won't, because 7,500 is something we can't afford at the moment. Raised suspension would be good, because raised suspension would then give us, even though they're highway tyres still, give us access to bigger tyres, which would be better. So what I wanted to check with this is, at what point, assuming we get raised suspension, can we unlock? So level 6 to unlock all-terrain tyres, and level 8 to unlock off-road tyres. And what the tyres I really want are these UOD 2s, because I find them fairly good in the mud, as the description suggests. Although they all have the same description, I find these UOD 2s, maybe they just look knobbly enough, but they seem to work for me. Standard winch. We've already got that. Van body would allow us to do some repairs. 800 units of repair. That may become a thing. That may become a relevant thing for us if and when we go to get the Tiger. But I want to understand the deployment cost before I think about that. Okay, so the reason for coming to the garage was to check when we can get better tyres, and the answer is level 6 for better, level 8 for best, and we're currently level 4, and need to pick up the pace on missions a bit, I think. Yeah. Quick look to make sure there's no upgrade options available. I think I am just gonna accept I'll sell the 4-litre engine, because I quite like the 5.2. It's a bit thirsty, but I do like it. Oh, we unlocked the SnowRunner gearbox. Yes, that's definitely worth us coming back to the garage. I'd forgotten that. Sell the stock gearbox. We've got raised suspension on. So we have, this must be a level 4 unlock. We've now got access to off-road tyres rather than all-terrains. And so they're good in mud, but excellent off-road, and that's a change from the 38s that we're currently using. So I am going to buy those and sell. Press the wrong button. I'm going to sell the all-terrains, and we've now got big chunky tractor tires, so that should be pretty good. It's going to probably make the handling a bit interesting, but they should make us a lot more capable of getting around. Not quite enough for the autonomous scout now that I've done that. Trunk supplies are just the spare wheel and parts, which I don't really care too much about. And the truck has a bit of damage to its bodywork, but nothing else. I'm not paying to repair the cosmetics just yet. Okay. What we are going to do, partly because we've just got those tyres and I'm slightly excited about them, is we're going to come out and we're going to see... We're going to head up to this route. Oh, those is wrong. Head up this route, head down here, because we had a mission for checking drainage pumps. One of the pumps is back behind the garage here, but in the same area is a broken down truck to pick up. Lights on. Of course, we're doing it in the dark. As I've said before, if it's too dark, I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do about it outside of cheating or installing mods, which on a hard mode, that might even invalidate hard mode. Maybe mods are blocked from hard mode. I've seen that happen in other games because it defeats the object if you can just mod in a load of trucks that makes life easy. But so yeah, the hard mode challenge means I can't time travel it to make it daylight for the convenience of myself and visibility of recording. So dark is part of the challenge. Forward drive. These big tires should be really nice compared to what we've had. Although, does it make us a bit more unstable? Maybe. We had 48-inch tires before, but it's just they were a different type of tire. They were all terrain, whereas these are off-road. Right. Diff lock. Just see what it does on this bit of puddle without winching at the moment, just because this is a bit of a test. Let's have a look. Back away from that slowly, so I don't go around the corner and tip myself over. Try and get myself carefully around this corner without putting two wheels up on a big rock that's going to tip me over. I'll stick this in low ratio and get the diff lock on. And the SnowRunner gearbox now, you can see my low ratio gearbox has high, low and medium. It has 3 different settings for the low ratio gearbox, which just gives us a bit more control, because this is now the highest of the low ratios, and as such isn't that far off first gear of automatic. probably wading out into something I didn't need to wade into here. In daylight might have picked the route that's a bit shallower. But I can only see what the headlights show me at the moment. What time of night is it anyway? 4 o'clock in the morning, so we're not far from daylight, the sunrise. Using the truck that we're going to try and rescue to tow me in. I want to get past it to that pump. Grab this task anyway. So we get paid 3,000 if we can recover this truck. And it looks like it goes back to the farm. But in the meantime, let's try and tag this pump behind the truck. Drop it into lower crawler. Right, so that's one of them tagged. I can't see whether it's safe to go to the right of the truck or just go out the same way we came in. I think probably the same way we came in. Oops. So in my campaign mode save, because of the DLCs, I just had the Can 39, I think it's called, truck in my garage, and I just came here with that, and it was so easy just to get this truck recovered. Okay, so we'll turn the engine on of the truck we're trying to recover, as we have the previous ones. And we're going to try and pick a route that's not too crazy. We're not moving it at all, are we? Yeah, so the Can dragged this out easily with its mud tyres, but this is struggling. So this may not be possible. This was a bit of a test of this truck with these new tyres. But let's get myself out of the water before I go any further and give up on this. No, we need something more substantial than this. Pickup truck. Okay. Well, we got the pump, but otherwise that feels like a little bit of wasted time. Let's get this back to garage. The amount of fuel I've used, I filled this up before we came out. So that's used half of its fuel tank. Just coming through this mud trying to get that truck. Alright, assuming it's uneventful, I'll meet you guys soon back at the garage. Right, welcome back. It was an uneventful drive. Rather than going to the garage, thinking about it while I was driving, so that trip out into the swamp wasn't a waste of time, I am going to do the other 2 pumps on this drainage mission because it pays $3,000 and that's useful to us. So we're going to go to the fuel station, refuel, because this is chewing through the fuel quite fast. And then we're going to go to the farm and get the pump near the farm, because this is a fairly capable wading vehicle now. But it is quite thirsty. When it's off-road and it's refuel, fill it up, head down to the farm, and just briefly, where is this pump on the farm? So it's not quite where we picked up. Okay, so what we're going to do is follow the road around more or less to where we fixed the down power pole, and then try and come into the pump that way. It looks cool, doesn't it, with these tyres? I quite like it. It does look good. These are probably as good as the tyres can get on this vehicle for, well, generally, really, because there was no mud tyre option, I believe, if I remember rightly. But there was just, other than these tyres, the next set up in terms of unlocking and progression is just chain tyres for the snow zones. And chain tyres really are only useful on ice. It's a little bit like highway tyres in that they have a very specific thing they're useful for, and that thing doesn't represent the majority of the road surface that you're driving on. So probably for a scout vehicle, these are the tyres that we would keep indefinitely. Other scouts do get access to mud tyres. Right, okay, so we need to come off road here somewhere. Go through those trees. Oh, yeah. Just kissed that sign, I didn't actually knock it over, officer. Right. Try and stay close enough to trees for winching purposes, and to avoid as much swamp as we can, just because of the fuel economy of crawling through swamp. Right, that's pump number 2. And discretion is the better part of valor. Let's turn it round and go out the same way rather than trying to push forward. Let's make sure we know. Handbrake, engine off, look at the map. Where is the other one? So the other one is near the stuck trailer, so maybe we could do some reconnaissance on the stuck trailer while we're in that area and see if we think our fleet star can get the stuck trailer out as well. But in terms of getting to this one, oh, we've got another bridge to repair. Got that one. In terms of getting to the stuck trailer, I think we go through town. Just take it up through town. This road's probably a bit gnarly looking at it. maybe through town and come out the other side of town, through here, down here. Look at the stock trailer. Try and get to the pump. Yeah. So many trees, I can't see what I'm actually driving through. All drive off, as this has become very thirsty. I know it's got the 5.2 engine in it, and I know I sold the 4 litre. I think it's the right thing to do, but I do worry a little bit about range now on this truck, until we can get the roof rack that carries extra fuel on it. We could have turned right there and gone through some swampy stuff to get to the pump, but I think this is just the safer route. Right, so reached our destination. You can see a curtain-side trailer there that we've got to pull out, and it is a lot wetter than the map makes it look. So where we're parked now is the edge of the water, whereas on the map, that trailer, so we're parked here. That trailer looks like it's on dry, but it's not. It's nowhere near dry. I do wonder whether this truck could pull that trailer as a winch. I can't hook up to it as a vehicle, but whether I could pull it out a bit to make it easier for the Fleet Star, because I don't really want to bring the Fleet Star into this wet, soggy mess. Slow ratio, get the diff lock on. And try and get to the pump, which is beyond. Let's get the pump, because that's why we're here in this vehicle at this moment in time, and then we may turn around and come back and see if we can maneuver. Bit funny then, I got a warning to disengage the diff lock on hard surfaces, which is really good advice, because diff locks do not like driving on a hard surface, it shatters them. So I want to start turning left here. But what's funny is that I don't think there's anything here that would be categorized as a hard surface. supposed to inspect the pump, not drive into it. Right, so $3,000 if much needed cash pushes us 12, which is nice. Get out of here. And I am going to see if this vehicle can move that trailer at all in terms of assisting. So let's just put a waypoint on it. Another direction I've got to go. In terms of assisting the Fleet Star to return it to its task giver. Right. So I'm going to try and get as hard a ground as I can with grip. Let's see if I can get that trailer at all. I may just not have the mass on this vehicle to be able to do that. Yeah, so the winch is pulling me back, not pulling the trailer forward. It's moving slightly, but not enough to be interesting. To lowest range. Yeah, it's moving it a little bit. Let's me go forward a little bit. If I could maneuver it with using this truck to the point that the Fleet Star could winch to it without getting its wheels wet, I think that would be a win. Because I'm sure the Fleet Star could handle that little incline of hopefully what looks like dry-ish terrain. Yeah, we're moving it. This is worth it. We're nearly there. Wheels caught on that rock, maybe now. Try and turn the dolly a little bit. I went near that rock because I wanted a little bit of solid ground. It doesn't look like it's caught on the rock, but it was behaving like it was. Slowly inching it forward. Might be enough because it's in winch range. Let's try and help the Fleet Star as much as we can. This is now better terrain for us as well. I do think this would be an interesting game to play multiplayer co-op. Most of the games I've ever played have been multiplayer in some form, either MMOs or co-op. Space Engineers is another game that I love. Valheim, that kind of thing. And this one, yeah, chatting to a friend on Discord while we're doing this, saying, right, okay, I've got that trailer ready, bring a truck to collect it, and we're done. We're good. So you can cooperate on these tasks. Would make you a lot more effective. Would be quite fun, I think. Right, I'm gonna handbrake and leave this part here. Put the engine off. I'm gonna jump into the Fleet Star, which is in our garage. I am going to, because for this mission I don't need it, I'm going to take off the bed. Doesn't cost me anything to take it out and leave it in storage. I'll keep the crane because it might be handy for this mission, but it just not having the bed on the truck makes you a little bit lighter and maybe a little bit more effective. Right, so we've arrived with the Fleet Star. We're gonna have an eventful drive. Did a bit of engine damage, and it was a bit. Sometimes happens. Maybe there's just a penalty for going too fast, but it seemed like we took some engine damage in the middle of the highway, and I couldn't see what we'd hit, if anything, that would cause that damage. But it's a bit of engine damage to repair. Stick this into low, get the diff lock on in preparation, connect up to the trailer, and hope we've got enough traction to get out of here. I'm not bothering at the moment to connect it because I want to make sure my wheels in the Fleet Star are well away from the wet stuff. But yeah, that doesn't look so far like it's going to be too big a problem pulling this out. But well, I'm going to say that the Fleet Star would have struggled to pull it out all the way through the swampy bit with these tyres, but this ground is dry enough to give us some traction. Could probably safely hook this up now, but we're almost at the road anyway, so we'll pull it up onto the road and then connect up. on a nice stable surface. And get this delivery done. Back to the trailer park. A little bit boggy there. But we're past it now. Should be good. You can't always see which bit of ground is going to be soft when you sink into it, which is one of the things I like, is it's as it would be maybe in the real world. It's not obvious. You drive over a bit of ground that looks fine and it turns out that there's a bulky section underneath. It's positioned so that we can attach. Right, now have we got to take this? We've got the trailer. So, okay, so we've got to take it there. So back down the main road. Or back down this road, turn left at the next T-junction and down into town. And this mission gives a reasonable, hopefully. Yeah, it's only 1600. But anyway, it's better than nothing. We need a better truck for this area, better delivery truck for this area with better tyres on it. And there are a couple of options there. One is to make enough money to buy one, so that you can buy it. And presumably you buy it and then pay to deploy it. So buy it here. The other is to explore the map, find stuck vehicles, and hope that one of them is an off-road delivery capable big truck. Yeah, we definitely need a better truck because our progression is being harmed by the fact that this is both slow and not capable of getting through the worst terrain with these tyres. Put better tyres on it and it'll be fine. We'll drive off. We'll drive back on. There's a muddy little patch. We have arrived at our destination. Right. So the trailer's gone. And the trailer park can have whatever's in it. What's next? What do we think we should do next? not the giant heavy truck, because we already know that we can't pick that one up. We've got the Chevy Kodiak available if we can get it out of where it's stuck. And that might include repairing it. Chevy Kodiak C70. Let's just handbrake, turn our engine off, which we should have done anyway to save fuel. Let's just jump into the garage and have a look in the store. You know what? So that it stops annoying me, I'm going to just do something. I'm going to pay to retain the GMC. It will cost me money from another garage. So does that mean if I wanted to, for my storage, I could deploy it here for free? Yes, I could. So retain it. Just out of interest, on the global map, I'm going to look at what would it cost if I wanted to deploy that truck into Tamia. Not that this truck would be useful, I'm doing this to understand the cost of deployment. So if I wanted to deploy it here, so there's a cost there of $3,500 to deploy. So let's just say, for argument's sake, the Fleet Star, if I retained it in Michigan and then deployed it here, would cost me $3,500. It may be able to go and get the Tiger, but then it's going to cost me $3,500 to take the Fleet Star back and $3,500 to take the Tiger back. So I need $10,500, which I have got, but I'd have to buy supplies to fix the Tiger, which I wouldn't have enough money to do that. So we won't deploy it, but what we are going to do, the reason that I was willing to experiment with the GMC is that I want to sell the thing anyway. I don't like it. I don't think it's a useful truck to us. That pushes our money up to 32. And then actually the thing I wanted to check is that Chevy Kodiak. What class of truck is it? It's not going to show it. Let's go to America, because that's what some trucks you can't buy. So I'm not going to buy. I'm being confusing now. Sorry. I'm not going to buy a Chevy Kodiak, but I want to know. So it's classed as a heavy duty, which is the same class that the GMC was. But if you were to buy a Chevy Kodiak, it has capable and switchable. So diff lock pre-installed. You'd have to find an all-wheel drive unit for it, and it has highway tires on it if you were to buy it. Let's just preview it a sec. I haven't unlocked anything. Yeah, I could only have highway tires on it, and it looks like it's a single rear axle. Where would the diff lock is pre-installed as engageable, and you'd have to explore Alaska to find the all-wheel drive. Yeah, okay. That lowers the priority of me recovering it, because I'm probably going to recover it and sell it. Rather than using it. Let me have a look at what we might want to do next. I think we might jump into the Chevy, take it to Smithfield Dam, and look at exposing some more upgrades. Alright, decision made. We're going to take this truck and the Chevy pickup through to Smithfield Dam. We're going to have a look at some of the missions there, uncover some map, get some unlocks, see what trucks are available there to recover, because damaging this one as I go. So I will proceed to Smithfield Dam and cut out the journey, because it's just road, there's no obstacles to get through. See you there. Okay, here we are. I've got all 3 vehicles moved. Well, the 2 vehicles that I moved, the Chevy pickup truck and the Fleet Star, I've moved over to Smithfield Dam. The Scout 800 was already here. In comparison to the upgrades we got on the Chevy now, I don't think the Scout competes. We may sell it, because we need to try to get ourselves in a better delivery truck. But speaking of which, the first thing we're going to do, so we're basically all of our vehicles are now in Smithfield, and we're going to work here for a little bit, because I fancy a different map anyway, and there are upgrades. We've got all of the upgrades and trucks available in the other map. We haven't picked up the Kodiak, but it's not useful particularly. So we're going to move this in, and we're going to put that sideboard bed back on. We've still got our crane installed. So that's our truck. We're going to leave the garage. I stopped off in the Smithfield fuel depot as I was coming past. And we need to open up a road right next to the garage, just over in the direction that the camera's currently facing. I need 2 service parts for that. I'll go and load them up at the service depot, which is just around the corner to the left here. How's that for a job? Escape out of that. Restore the crane. Back to cargo. Off we go. So I've been messing around a little bit. I've got recordings in the can, as it were, that are ready to edit and upload. I need to do the post-production work. And I still can't get OBS to do the audio track separation. OBS being the recording software that I'm using. Seems to be quite a popular one. I can't get it to do 2 separate audio tracks. So it does make my editing a bit slower than it might otherwise be, but I don't know whether it's a limitation of the fact that I'm rank 5, it's nice. The fact that I'm just using my MacBook as a editing device. I have a MacBook for work reasons, but I'm playing this game on a PC, so I've got a fairly decent gaming PC rig, but it just seems sensible to try and have the MacBook do the editing so that I can carry on playing while the MacBook might be rendering up a scene. Too far away to change that way. But I am, yeah, so I'm struggling a little bit with the editing tools. And that's probably why I am backing up episodes that aren't published yet. Which I know that's not a particularly wise thing to do in terms of YouTube and the algorithm and all the rest of it, but this, at the moment, this isn't, I'm not even thinking about trying to make the channel in any way efficient for the YouTube algorithm. And this is me learning how to record, how to edit, how to talk to my gameplay, which is something that I've just never done before. I'm feeling a bit more confident as I do it than I was when I first started, but that's some practice helps. But given that I only have 5 published videos and a couple or 3 in the can, I'm going this way. Yeah, so it's still a learning process for me, and the point of me doing this is the learning exercise rather than the channel growth. So it doesn't really matter if I post 5 videos a day, and that may be too much for people to watch, but it doesn't affect getting more people to watch at the moment isn't really my goal. It's learning how to make content that I feel happy with, and then if I get to that point, if I feel that my content is interesting and engages people, then I can think about how to try and, if I ever get that far, how to try and be a YouTuber. Right, so we've got an upgrade for the current truck. It's a 4.4. So that might be, and it also would fit the Scout plus a couple others. That might be, so we sold the 4-litre engine that we had for this, and we put the 5.2 in. It has become quite thirsty. So when we're next in a garage, we'll have a look at where... we'll have a look at that engine, see what the power to weight looks like, see what the fuel consumption looks like. It might be a nice compromise. The 5.2 might be just too thirsty for hard mode, certainly at the moment when we haven't got the roof rack that gives us more fuel range. Just opening up bits of the map that we haven't been to. We knew that there was an upgrade in that location from our previous visit where we exposed one of the watchtowers on this side of the map. This one. That watchtower told us that there was an upgrade there. Hungry workers, accident. So this is interesting to me because this is a truck that I believe we get to keep. And I believe I found it quite useful when I was here before. And then there's an upgrade down on this side of the dam as well. Right, I think for now we'll call this episode done here. This is quite a long recording, and I need to work out how to edit it down to a level that I'm comfortable with for YouTube. So hopefully by the time you guys get to see it, it's a bit more interesting than just watching me drive around roads that we've driven through before that don't pose any risk to us. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it, and appreciate every view that I see in my analytics page. It gives me some indication as to whether or not the material is getting better, more consumable. And like I say, it's part of my learning process, so I do appreciate the views, and I will see you on the next one.